Welcome to Tech Trove, the Samsung Galaxy S24. Ultra has even more upgrades than we expected, including a big upgrade to the display. And today, I'm going to be sharing everything now first up before we jump into the exciting SS24 stuff for anyone after the new Z Fold 5 at the Flip 5, the Tab S9 or the new watch Samsung are currently running a deal with a free storage upgrade and 50 off. So I place the links down in the description below for anyone that wants to check out the deal now onto the ES24 Ultra though. And the first big upgrade we're getting is the new 3x telephoto camera. Ally's Universe is advised that we get a 50 megapixel 0.7 micrometer 1/2.52-inch sensor. And while it was initially rumoured that it would be upgraded to a 5x telephoto, Ice Universe advises that they're going to be using the zoom up from the 50 megapixel telephoto to achieve great results with the 3x. Now next up, we've got reports that say satellite communication is going to be available on the Galaxy S24 series. And it's going to provide two-way communications for emergencies, and pretty much the same as we see on the iPhones. Now the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is already capable of connecting to low-orbit satellites, but the feature was never put into the S23 series. But the report states that Samsung have been working with Iridium Communications. They're going to bring it to the whole S24 lineup. Now next up, we've got another tweet from Ice Universe, and he says that the Galaxy S24 Ultra has finally been given an upgrade to the display, while he doesn't give any further information. A new report from Chosen Media does shed some light now. Their report says that the S24 series is going to be using at Samsung's M13 OLED panels, and these are going to be thinner, more power efficient, and of course a better overall picture, as well as offering higher levels of brightness. While we don't know what the exact details of the display, it's estimated that it could offer an incredible 2500 nits of peak brightness. Next up, we've got news that the actual cost of manufacturing the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is going to be high. This is hardly a surprise. Digital Chat Station advised on Weibo that there's going to be a much higher manufacturing cost for the new chipset as expected. This is most likely the reason that Samsung are returning to Exynos. In certain regions, a price rise is always expected, but it seems that with many phones next year, costs are going to be considerably more expensive now. Next up, for those of you excited of the Samsung Galaxy S24 series, we're going to run through the full specs, design and pricing for each model in the range. The standard Galaxy S24 is coming with a 6.1-inch 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. We get a resolution of 2340 by 1080. And it's going to be using Samsung's new M13 OLED panels protected by Gorilla Glass Victors 2. We get a 12 megapixel punch or camera for the selfies. Then on the rear, it's a 50 megapixel primary camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 10 megapixel telephoto. And of course, it can be powered up by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in South Korea. And USA or European users are going to be getting the Exynos 2400. We get 12 gigabytes of RAM and a choice of 256 or 512 gig storage. And this is going to be a UFS 4.1. It comes with a 3900 milliamp hour battery. And what fast charging is still unknown. We're hoping to see an upgraded to something like 40 watts. But we do know that we're getting at 5G Bluetooth, 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. Now it's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from about 850 to 900 and that's going to be in February 2024. Now next up, we've got the Galaxy S24 Plus with a 6.6-inch 120 Hz dynamic AMOLED display. We get a resolution of 2340 by 1080, and it's going to be using Samsung's new M13 OLED panel, and again protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 2. We had a 12-megapixel punch-hole camera for the selfies. Then on the rear again, it's a 50-megapixel primary, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 10-megapixel telephoto. It's going to be powered up by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in South Korea and USA. And again, that Europe users are going to get the Exynos 2400. And again, we get 12 gigabytes of RAM and the choice of 256 or 512 storage, which will be UFS 4.1. It comes with a 4,700 mAh battery, while fast charging again is unknown. We're hoping to see and upgrade it to something like 40 watts. And again, we get 5G Bluetooth, 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. It's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from about 1050. Now, finally, we've got the most premium, the Galaxy S24 Ultra. With the S24 Ultra, we've got a 6.8-inch 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. It's got a resolution of 3088 by 1440, and again, it's using Samsung's new M13 OLED panel, protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 2. We get a 12-megapixel punch-hole camera for the selfies. Then on the rear, it's a 200-megapixel primary camera, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide. We get a 50-megapixel or 3 times telephoto, as well as a 10-megapixel telephoto with 10 times optical zoom. It's going to be powered up by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in South Korea and USA, with European users getting the Exynos 2400. And with the S24 Ultra, we get 16 gigabytes of RAM with up to 1 terabyte of storage. And of course, it's UFS 4.1. It comes with a 5,000 mAh battery. More fast charging is still unknown when it comes to the Ultra. We're hoping for an upgrade of something closer to 60 watts. We're also going to get 5G Bluetooth, 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. Now it's coming with One UI 6 based on Android 14, and it's expected to launch from 1250. So the Galaxy S24 series is very similar to its predecessor in terms of the design, and Samsung's focus has been on hardware and user experience. Now this means it's probably not going to be worth upgrading from the SS23, but for those on older S phones, or looking to get their first S phone, and it's definitely going to be a great choice now. Of course, with launch being in February, we're going to get more and more information as we approach it, and I'll be sharing it as soon as anything comes in. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe Tech Trove YouTube channel for more new exciting videos.